Now, scores of residents in the coastal community of Glefee in the Ablekuma West municipality of the Greater Accra region have been rendered homeless after violent tidal waves destroyed their houses last week. The only health facility in the area risks collapse as work on the Dansoman Sea defense has stalled for more than 2 years. The affected residents, mainly women and children, say they've been forced to sleep outside at the mercy of the weather. For Joy in My Community this week, Manuel Kranting visited the Glefee area and now reports.
Glefee is a coastal community which lies about 100 meters north of the Atlantic Ocean. There are no government schools here, no government hospitals, or even government-controlled public toilets. Unemployment is quite high in this area too. While they grapple with these challenges, there's another one which is threatening their very lives and livelihoods. Tidal waves. Violent, destructive, and ferocious tidal waves. Every week, at least 5 houses here are washed into the sea by the tidal waves. This is as a result of rising sea levels occasioned by climate change. Not even the sea defense project here has prevented buildings from being washed away by the sea.
For years, ni buildings here. Gradani. Obana sure. New York New York properties New York. Jane ni sone it has been here for long.
But he is not alone. Kwesi, his neighbor, has been up since 3 a.m. planting beams to support the fast eroding foundation of his building.
As you can see, the way the waves is, it's very, very, very scary. But what will you do? I have a 2-year kid, very, very young, who is with me, and it's not safe for her.
The kids here are literally petrified. They look on helplessly as the only places they have known to be home continue to be broken away, building after building.
To commit is a commature but Chamilim baby Ameda. And I'm more than one amid the said I knew. And I'm never my minimum papa in Naipia. Yeah, but she not dining in the but now wanting my chain. I said I'm school.
The contractor has had cause to alter the design of the remaining 400 meters to allow for a landing site for the fishermen in the area. The spot for the intended landing site dovetails into the piece of land which houses the only medical facility in the area, the Royal Memorial Hospital. The hospital stands just some 10 meters away from the last standing structure at the shore. The nurses here practically work in fear. Dorcas Mensah is one of the nurses at the surgical theater of the facility.
Some time ago, we were having a case done at a theater whilst we cut a patient's abdomen open, and then all of a sudden we had a shake in the ground, and everything, the towels and then the bed the patient was on, everything sank down, which was very scary.
This 2-kilometer sea defense project is being executed by Sidalco Construction Limited, partly to reclaim some of the lost land and also protect the buildings along the coastline from the devastation of the ocean. Work started here in November 2015 and was to be completed by 2018. But that was not to be, as several challenges including logistical constraints and issues of payment certificates delayed the completion of the project up until now. Charles Owusu is the assemblyman for the Glefee electoral area.
And they told us that the sea level is higher than the community. So if we can stay safe here, unless they construct a sea defense for us. Since the construction of the sea defense, you see, they started from Glefee enclaves, and now here is Akwetema, but they have stopped here. So we called on our MP, which is in the person of Honorable Esla Usu. She came here last time with, I think, the housing minister or so. and they came and looked at it, and then they said, okay, government have awarded the contract to that same contractor, but the contractor said they need clearance before they can continue the job. So that is how far we have gotten to.
The only facility.
Well, let's bring in Elvis Ajayba. He's Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Works and Housing. Elvis, first of all, has this situation come to your attention?
Good afternoon, Mama V, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Good afternoon and good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, indeed, it has come to our notice, and as the Assemblyman rightly said, the Honourable Minister has gone to the site as part of his tour last month, and he himself recognized the devastating nature of the residents, and he has acknowledged that whatever that government has to do to ensure that that part of the project is completed, will do. Remember, this project is a two-phase project. The first one, or the phase one, as we put it, was a 2-kilometer project. So if you recall, if you would listen to the residents, they acknowledge that some Glefee, Pambros, all those parts have been completed, and that the residents are okay. It's left with that portion. And that is what the Honourable Minister has assured that very soon, because it's very urgent, it's an urgent situation that needs an attention, and that as soon as possible, he has to activate the process to ensure that the contractor actually comes back to site, and then that work on that.
Okay, so Elvis, let's get a bit of clarity, because the Assemblyman indicated that that project has been awarded to the same contractor, except that the contractor said he has not been given the clearance. What's the position?
Exactly what I'm saying, that, it's a process. When you want to award a contract, it's a process. We have to initiate the commencement certificate with the Ministry of Finance, and that is what the Honourable Minister has done, and that I can assure that very soon the resident will be the sigh of relief with the coming of the contractor on site.
Okay, so in the interim, as the people are still faced with this challenge, what's the arrangement in the meantime?
Well, you see, the design of this project, or this defense project, in such a way that I perfectly agree, or I share the sentiment of the people, because, like I said, once it's a two-phase project, and you have almost completed about 95% of the phase one done, obviously, from a layman's view, you could clearly see that the branch of the city will now shift to the portion that the residents are complaining about, and that's exactly what is currently playing out. But like I said, we have acknowledged that it's an urgent situation, and the ministry is doing everything possible for the contractor to come to site, because it will not augur well for the country. It will not augur well for even the capital, the human capital of the country, if we even lose a life or some properties are destroyed. So that is what the ministry is currently working on, and maybe I can assure you and the residents who are currently listening that very soon the contractor will come to site when the commencement certificate is awarded.
Okay, when you say very soon, help us so that we can get some timelines and get back to you maybe later on.
Well, I may not be in a position to give the timeline. Like I said, it's a process. But what is refreshing is that the process has started. We have engaged the Ministry of Finance. The Honourable Minister himself has engaged them. They have triggered the process. And that I'm very sure, very sure that very soon we will come to an end and the contractor will come back.
Okay. Just the last thing before you go, Elvis. The only health facility, I don't know if you've been following the story, if you heard a nurse in the hospital indicate that they also experience some discomfort, sharing the story of a surgical operation ongoing when they experience some shakeup. Has this particular situation of the hospital also received some attention from the ministry?
Yes, Mama B, indeed. We've seen the particular facility were excited and all that. But one thing that is erroneous that I would wish to correct from your documentary that you played is the fact that you look at it paints the picture that the ministry or our coastal defense project seems to take land from the environment or from the residents. No, all our sea defense projects rather reclaim land from the seabed. That those are the design or those are the nature of our sea defense project. So it's not true that that particular spot is like the design is intended to take that particular land from that. That is just by the way. Now coming to the facility itself, the hydro department have been, if I say the hydrological department of the ministry has been notified about that, and I'm told, in fact, on Wednesday or Thursday, that is what the briefing I get, that the hydro department will dispatch some technical men to go to the facility and assess the situation. It is upon the completion of the assessment that we will be able to know if there is a need for any temporary measure for that particular incident that happened.
Elvis, we'll leave it here. We'll follow up after Wednesday. Thank you very much for talking to us. He speaks for the Works and Housing Ministry. You're watching Joy News today. We'll take a breather. We'll be back with business.